you doing? This is Rael, and today I decided to talk about Black Panther. And right now, I'm not even too concerned about viewers or people coming on right now because I'm not about the viewers. I'm also about the content, and I'm hoping that you all truly get the understanding of Black Panther, and we can kind of clear some of the clutter that's in the that's out there on YouTube, that's really out there on social media. So I think the first question is we have to really look at what is vibranium and why is vibranium considered to be the one technological advancement or discovery or mineral that has advanced Wakanda society to the height of its evolution, where they have technology that really, when we think about our imagination, that our imagination hasn't even yet able to really look into and to kind of fathom exactly what they're doing. And the first things first is that technology doesn't create people. People create technology. All right, so that's the first thing, that when you look at Wakanda as an advanced civilization, it is something about the civilization that they have been able to build structures, build UFOs, build all these type of things. So that alone should let you know that these are not your basic thinking Negroes, Afro Americans, whatever you want to put it. You know, these are not your basic people. They're not even your basic African. All right, these people are even far more advanced than that. But since this place is so secluded, even in Africa, even the seclusion of Wakanda is almost a clue to exactly this substance, is vibranium, because the seclusion and Wakanda being so small and very hard to find, and you have to almost kind of go through like a waterfall or whatever to kind of break into this world. It lets you know that this vibranium is the key. Now, the first things first, I think the first clue is that we have to look at the symbolism that they used in the movie. And for most people, if I wish I'm gonna put this phone down and I'm gonna show you this, that the main pose that we would see with most people would be the old Osiris pose. All right, and so what this is letting you know is the old king, all right, or the old king, the old Messiah, the one true righteous one. All right, that's what that symbolically represents. And most people, I mean, think about it, this is not really even happening to today's society. You know, we didn't even have people started doing this. Now we're seeing poses where people are doing this, representing the old king Osiris, the one true God, right? That is coming to retake his throne. And I really think that even the storyline and the plot and twist has some actual elements where they kind of throw you off as far as how and who. And I kind of look at the Jaguar or Killmonger as the same being, almost as Black Panther, and I'll kind of get into that a little bit further. But let's kind of jump into vibranium. Vibranium is a purple substance, all right, that is given to the one true king, all right. And so this purple substance, I like to say, is relative of drinking from the pineal gland, all right, or drinking this substance that's so secluded. It's a very small little dot, kind of like Wakanda, but this is secluded even in your brain, right? Where the one idea is that when you're able to drink this substance, or the pineal gland, all right, which is the secret elixir, all right, what it does is it activates melanin. So what it is that they're letting you know that it's the Christ consciousness, because this is what this is all about. You can call it Christ consciousness, you can call it Osiris consciousness, Toph consciousness, Ra's consciousness. They're all the same guys. They're all the same beings. All right, they're all the one true gods. All right, because I just think that we all kind of get history intertwined when we don't know who's who and which god is this god, and I don't think that we still don't realize that the Egyptians were in touch with their higher selves. So on the planet, he may saw himself as the divine teacher, but he also knew his God self, his God essence that was actually giving him his power and his anointing on earth. All right. And so this is something that when he's given this substance, it's that the ancestors give it to him. All right. It's the mother, the woman, she gives him this fluid. Now, it's also symbolical of what they used to call the crocodile oil. All right, they used to when they have the new king, they used to put the crocodile. I think it was crocodile fat, or crocodile oil, but it was that substance that was put all over the person. And so Killmonger is letting you know that he's also a king too. All right, and so if you look at his body, it was all reptile like, right? And so he's letting you know that I'm a true king, but how they kind of intertwined it. And then this is what a fuckery is, right? This is where they let you know that we're about to mind fuck you. We're about to fuck you, the Africans, and we're about to mind fuck the Americans, right? Because the idea is that they had to correct that one. The Black Panther, the little short guy, I thought that they could have chose a better person to play this Black Panther, but they had him where he actually comes back, and this is where you kind of know he's the King of Kings, Lord of Lords, right? This is, this kind of gets into this where is that when they have the ceremony and his father has already passed, right? In all the kingdoms they had their representatives there, and so they all had a natural right to challenge the prince for his position, and if they would have a more successful, more brave, more a person who was better able to fit the role, he could challenge that person for his position. All right, and so this goes back into the old days that when you were the alpha male, you had to be able to be a warrior king. You was not just a king who like a president who just sat back and did shit. You were a person who were on the battlefield, and the king was always considered the most skillful warrior on the field. All right, but he doesn't put himself in harm's way. But since this is Black Panther, the superhero movie, of course he's going to be out there fighting crime as a prince who's actually now going to be a king. Which this is he's trying to, whatever wrong that his kingdom is doing, or whatever. This technology that gets out, he's trying to really keep it hidden, but it's now a time where this vibranium has to come out, and everyone wants it because of what it can do. So that's the one thing. But this is where, when we look at most past stories, is that there's usually the king that comes from afar. All right, and so how they had it in the movie and this is what I was saying earlier, was that they had him where he was anointed king, and they gave him the vibranium, right? All right, and this is something the ancestors did to him, where it was able to activate him, and he was able to go into the spiritual realm, talk to his ancestors, them let him know, hey, you a king, and so he was able to come back down and conduct himself. All right, so Killmonger, all right, he has his rites of passage. He goes through the hard knock life, right, where he was just kind of left and for a stray, where he was abandoned, right? And he has to find his way back to his rightful position. Now, his story is the real story, right? His story is the truth of someone stealing someone's kingdom, where they had to flee for their own life, and somehow they have to find their way back to their kingdom to recover the throne. So the thing is, now they have two stories that has the same similar twist, where you almost kind of get screwed up, where you like Killmonger, and a lot of people do like Killmonger and feel that he has a right, and that's how they wanted it. But you also like the righteous king too, right? Who is nice, and he's likable. He's the Prince Charming. He's who wants to see on the throne, right? And so what they did was they made him the home favorite, the more likable choice, rather than Killmonger, because I feel Killmonger should have been Black Panther. I feel that if they would have made him righteous and true, and I think he did a pretty damn good job. He didn't go off and just started killing people, right? He went and got what was his, and he came back and addressed the people who he needed to address, and he had the right information to show that he belonged, right? So his story, right? If they could have made him more rightful and true, all right, and did the switch up, because I feel that the Black Panther that they have is he's the archetypal. He's he fits the idea of the one true God. All right, but Killmonger. Now let's say he would represent the wrath of God. I would pit that. All right, meaning that his judgment will be taken out on those people who abandon his son. All right, so when we look at Killmonger, he's also representative of when we look at the movie The Green Lantern, all right, and this is also another key point to kind of let you know that these are pretty much almost the same energies. when you look at Sinestro, I think that's how you pronounce him, his name, right? And the Green Lantern, when he took on put on this ring, this Omega ring, right? You can almost say this is Vibranium, but just in the ring, right? All right. He took on the energy of what he was trying to master, which is the dark world of evilness, of his anger. He was trying to see if he could harness that power of anger and not let it get out of control, right? Killmonger, if you look at him when he took the Vibranium, he didn't turn purple, all right? He turned yellow, all right, which is that egotistical mind, all right, is where it's the what I like to call the mind of anger, the mind of the personality, all right. But when you are the one true God, or when you reach the level of righteousness, all right, then what happens is you activate an even greater element. See, it's not the Vibranium itself that brings about the purple glow on the Pink Panther. That's what we need to get. We need to get that part out of our mind, that when he drinks this, everything turns purple, because they let you know that when Killmonger drunk it, he turned yellow. He became the Jaguar. All right. So it lets you know that it was his heart. All right. It was his heart, his nobleness, all right, that allowed him to harness the power of the ancestors, which is that dark purple. You know, that I like to call it that God purple, that royal purple. All right, that represents that God energy. And if any of you people are familiar with the cartoon Dragon Ball Z, right? And I don't know if some of you get into that. You may, if you're into Marvel, then you may be into Dragon Ball Z, because that cartoon is a shit. Right. So when we look at the God of Destruction, all of the God of Destruction, when they reach this level in Dragon Ball Z, their glow turns purple. All right, a dark purple. That dark purple that comes from pure darkness. All right, and that purpleness that you're able to drink is that when you're able to understand things out of darkness, then what happens is it is your insight that you're drinking from, your intuition that you're drinking from. You're drinking from your higher essence, that knowledge that allows you to have this eternal youth, this eternal knowledge, this intelligence, this higher, what would you say, God knowledge. And so that's the one thing that differentiates Jaguar or Killmonger and the Black Panther, is that Black Panther has his ancestors behind him. Killmonger is just by himself. You know, he's out there trying to take back what's his, and he has a natural right. But Black Panther has the ancestors behind him. Now, this is why I like to say this is the fuckery on the Americans and the Africans is that Killmonger, all right, his journey, if you want to bring about true change, it's not going to happen from the same person who grew up within the same kingdom. And even though the dude was righteousness, he didn't really have no real sense of struggle. His only sense of struggle was when Killmonger came back, kicked his ass, he fell off the cliff and was recovered, and he was kind of almost entombed, right? And so he was kind of getting himself, he was getting repaired, you know, and only when he gained the truth, right, did he have more power to be able to go back and right what was wrong, right? And so he didn't kill him, right? All right, he let him live, but it was the one thing to let him know that, you know, even though he was the one king at that time, and he was king of kings over all the other kings, right? It let him know that there was some wrongs that his ancestors had done, all right? And he was only given that position so he can rewrite the wrongs. And so I really feel like that if you were to look at Killmonger, all right, his statements, everything he said about why he should be king, I think he would have brought a good sense of change to them. Well, I do think the world needs to be exposed to Vibranium. The world does need to become the Wakanda. All right, but the Africans cannot just keep that power to themselves. The Wakandans cannot keep that power to themselves. They have to teach everybody how to be enlightened. And that's what I feel that Killmonger's true message was to that whole thing, was everybody need to be smarter. Not just you damn people under the waterfall with the UFOs doing your thing behind the scenes. Everybody needs this knowledge. Right, so he's really trying to bring the light to all, where the one Black Panther is trying to keep it very exclusive, you know, to his royal tribe. So I do understand both of them. All right, but if you understand true knowledge and true wisdom, is that you can't give it to everybody, because everybody is not deserving of that. So I do understand Black Panther, the king's point of view and his father's point of view. that everyone wasn't ready for that kind of power and that kind of knowledge, and that there were still evil people out here who would do harm with this knowledge, this technology. And so they showed you that character. All right, the white guy, I forgot the white criminal dude and what he was trying to do. And so they were letting you know that we had this technology for so long that we so wise and so beyond that time that we cannot give this high advanced knowledge to these regular people. Right, so the whole idea is that this movie really makes you have the conversation and the debate: is the world ready for Christ consciousness? Right? Are we ready to take our civilization to a higher knowledge and a higher level of advancement where we can now build technology that can now serve humanity and not humanity keep serving technology, because we do have it backwards, right? And then when we look at the Black Panther, right, how do we make a greater presence in the world, right? And so the one thing is, you saw at the end that he built a school. All right, that maybe that he, instead of being so excluded, maybe you can have a school where you can somehow have a central platform placed before you, able to go to Wakanda or go to another place, because it would not work if your mind is not fully advanced and evolved, you will not be able to understand the Wakandans, because they let you know that when you saw the intelligent white cop colonizer, whatever I forgot that she called him colonizer, right, which also represents something. She let him know that she had to guide him and help him understand her technology. So it lets you know that without a Wakandan supervision, that it would be hard for those two worlds to really collide. And so that's one reason that they had to stay secluded, was because the difference in intelligence level, right? So when we look at Black Panther, let's first understand. I'm just gonna kind of wrap this all up. I don't want to keep talking forever, but when we look at Black Panther, let's first understand that it's all about being able to drink from the pineal gland, all right? And from there, your power is determined on your heart. If you're still, harboring hatred, anger, and fears, or if you're harboring righteousness, all right. And righteousness is the pathway to the ancestor world, all right, and which allows you to go and speak with the ancestors and to get your true power and true backing. Because even though that he was able to drink the Vibranium, he didn't have the backing, he didn't have the favor when it came to winning the war. So I'll leave you with that. That's your breakdown on the Black Panther. Really get people to really start looking at what this is all about. It's not just about the movie itself. The movie itself is letting you know, and I like to say it's a prerequisite to what's about to come. It's letting the world know that if we were able to get behind one king, one superhero in 1 week, that 1 week they was able to generate $1 billion, over $1 billion. All right. It lets you know that if you were to able to tap into that African market, able to tap into that, the idea of blackness, that the blackness itself is an abundance of knowledge and wealth for anyone, if they can really learn to explore that whole dark element of who we are and what our past is, and how do we achieve and even in greater self of who we are. And so that Black Panther, that righteous king, is only a prerequisite, because everyone is looking for that. Everyone is wanting that old king back. Everyone is wanting someone who can sit up high and feel that they have an umbrella protection down below. And I feel that's what Black Panther meant to the people here. That's why everyone is so high and mighty about Black Panther, because he's the first comic hero that can now compete with all these other Marvel superhero action people, hero people, that he actually kicked most of their asses, right? So that's when you look at Black Panther, I can see why people have so much pride for them. But I like to say, prepare for the real king, all right? So I'm gonna let you go with that one. Understand that your real king is coming. Now, how do I turn off this damn thing? I do not know. Just rotate the camera. Do you do like this? How do I turn it off? I don't know how to turn this off.